What's your ruined vacation story? Dad and I went on a motorcycle trip. Second day out we were about to cross the border when a yearling grizzly ran out in front of his bike. I was behind him. His front tire went over the bear which got caught in front of the back tire. Bike went down. Dad barrel rolled down the highway and the bike cartwheeled through the ditch. Dad suffered no major injuries as he was wearing full gear, but the bike was totaled. My brother drove out and picked him up and we went back home. Turns out the basement flooded in the day we were away, so we spent the next day pulling out carpets and drywall. We still each had about 2 weeks booked off, so decided to try again. Went to continue the trip in a car. Second day out was stopped at light and get rear-ended by a lady with no insurance. There wasn't really any damage, so we continued on our way with no further troubles for the duration. This is not the only ruined trip story involving my dad. He seems to be a bad luck charm. Went to the beach in South Carolina with my family. My cousin's lung collapsed, so he was in the hospital for the entire time. On the first day, I got a horrible sunburn on my legs and feet. Apparently sun poisoning is a thing. My feet swelled up to twice their original size and I couldn't walk for about 3 days or wear shoes for almost 2 weeks. My dad got stung by a stingray and the urgent care in SC said he'd be fine, but on the drive home, we live in Kansas, it started to swell a lot. He went to the when we got home. Wish I was there to see the faces of the doctors when a middle-aged man walks into a Kansas at 2 a.m. with a stingray sting. I went on a snowboarding holiday, the first one paid by myself, and the first real vacation for 7 years. The first day I was there, I got a text from my neighbor asking why all my furniture was outside. My landlord, who also is my father, waited until I was away to clear out my apartment. I was planning to move out the next month, but came back to be practically homeless. My grandparents took me in. Who is also my father. That made this so much worse. What was the fallout from this? Do you still talk to your father? My father was there, and he loves 2 things: screaming at the kids and forcing the family to go hiking. I didn't get that vacations can be nice until years later, as during my childhood, it always was walking on eggshells around my father without being able to escape to school or to grandparents. I no longer want to go on a vacation with my dad. Don't get me wrong, I love him very much, but vacationing with him only makes me even more stressed than I already am. Stayed at a 5-star all-inclusive resort in Cancun. It was freezing in the room as we were trying to sleep, so we requested extra blankets, wrapped up and went to sleep. We both woke up with head-to-toe bed bug bites. We left that day almost 2 weeks early. Also had to pay $50 for Wi-Fi access and the food was horrific. It was Taco Bell quality food. Won't be returning to Cancun. Went to the beach with my ex-boyfriend's family. Little did I know that after the 7-hour trip they hadn't even booked a hotel in advance, so we had to try to find a decent hotel with vacancy during the July 4th holiday. They finally found a room, but I ended up having to sleep on an air mattress because it was so cramped and not enough beds for everyone. Total misery for 7 days. When I arrived in Spain to be at my grandma's place in Torrevieja, she does not fully live there. She goes there just for vacation herself. We went to a restaurant just after getting out of the airport. I had some shady dog food like spaghetti. After that for a day or more I was having horrible stomach pains throughout the night. Probably food poisoning. I still blame the spaghetti. I went to Croatia with my ex and his dog, who meant the world to him. We were staying near Zagreb for a week and had rented a little house with a pool for the following week. On the second day of the second week his dog started to have traces of blood in her urine. It turned out to be bladder cancer and we had to put her down. It was horrible. We had her cremated and went home early. Well, it was a group of 5 guys. Went on a long-awaited 3 days trip. Everyone was really excited, but things went south on first night itself. By the 3rd night it became a solo trip for everyone. It was god-awful sitting in the flight together on our way back. What happened that first night to make it so bad? My friend's mom booked an all-inclusive vacation to Hawaii a few years ago. She was waiting in line to board when she felt a sneeze coming. Tried to hold it back, but that sneeze wanted out. She sneezed so violently she dislocated something in her neck. Went straight to the hospital. I had to go to the hospital because my nose started bleeding and wouldn't stop for like 1.5 hours. Due to that, I started throwing up blood and fainting because of the loss of blood. But I can really recommend visiting the Scottish Highlands. Dad joined in. So mom and I had no time on our own. No holiday filled with motherly blowjobs. Could have broken your arms and stayed home with her instead. Daddy blows are better anyways. The mustache tickles. I went to visit my aunt in the U.S. It's like 15 hours flight. Basically, long story short, my father at home had a heart attack and died. So, we had to get home as soon as possible even though we had 2 more weeks for our vacation. We had a Suburban, and like usual it broke down, this time somewhere in Tennessee. The only motel we could find didn't have television, and had to list it to my Aspergery brother have massive 3-day meltdown. Not fun. My wife got really weird on me, and we didn't even go into the ocean when in vacation in California. Because of that, I didn't say another word the 6+ hours home. You gotta start carrying granola bars with you. One time we went to New Orleans. My little brother was jumping around in our hotel room screaming that he wanted to go home. No, it didn't ruin my whole vacation, but it certainly ruined that morning. We were in Disneyland when my grandpa died. Spent the rest of the trip sad and completely uninterested in the vacation, but he had told us before we left that whatever happened we should have fun and enjoy our trip. Wife decided to pick a fight with me halfway through. That's when you give her a stone cold stunner and leave her lying in a heap at the Shell station. Got off the cruise boat in Florida about to head into Disney World and found out my grandfather had died. My mom broke her ankle getting off the plane in Hawaii honeymoon vacation. Destroyed my knee on the second day of a skiing trip. Got diarrhea in the mountains. Not being able to afford a vacation